Hi everybody, and welcome to another part of the JavaScript tutorials. In this part we're going to briefly talk about AJAX and see how it works. Notice that we have a much simpler way in order to get the APIs. APIs are some kind of data in the JSON format that you can get from the internet that contains some data related to specific subjects such as movies, weather, or crypto prices, news, and whatever. So we will then get some data from that JSON file and show this to the user with the help of DOM. So in this part we're going to get the general idea of what AJAX is, but notice that there is a much easier way in order to get the APIs, a much shorter way, and that is using the await fetch function, which we're going to cover in the later tutorials. But in this part, let's get started with the simplest example we can use in order to get API using AJAX. So now let me show you a website that you can get the IMDB API, and using this IMDB API you can get the first 250 movies according to IMDB. So the first you need to log into the website, or if you haven't ever registered to that, you will need to register to the website. So make sure you do that, and afterward you will need to get the API of the most popular movies, and then you will get the API key and the link to get that JSON file. Notice that here I've done this, and this is the link to that API. If I copy this and paste it here in the browser, you will be able to see that there's a very long JSON file that you can get or query data from this kind of JSON file or API, and then be able to use it and be able to fetch data, whatever data that you want. So this is the list of the first 250 movies that are most popular according to the viewers of these movies. So we will then use this API and get the image of one of them and show this to the DOM element. Here we've done this, and for example here is the Pulp Fiction, one of the first 10 movies. I think it's the 8th movies of IMDb. So here I've written a code using which you can get that kind of data and show this to the DOM element step by step. So here I'm going to first of all copy this and keep this and delete all of this altogether and write it all over again so that you can understand it better, and I will explain this so that you can understand it. So first of all we're going to write a function. So I'm going to call this run, and here instead of it we'll write the code related to getting the data from the URL. So let's define the URL related to our API. There we go. And then next thing is to so before that let's define XHR, which is related to XML request. So XHR equals to so new XML HTTP request. So this is based on a request that you sent, and there is this URL with the get method. So XHR, so here the first attribute is get. So this is the get method for querying the data, and then we'll enter the URL as the second argument, and then true. Here we go. And then we're going to check for the response xhr.onReady state change, onReady state change, and okay, there it is. So make this equal to function, so whenever it changes states, so we will have a function or actually here we define the function so that it gets the onReady state change. So here instead of this, we will first of all console log this, and it will show us whatever it will return as the response. So console.log this, and before doing anything else, let me save this and see what is shown on the browser. So let's go to inspect elements, console, and here it should show us some kind of data. So the reason it's not showing is that we haven't run the function, so let's run it here and save this. We also need to run the xhr.send. So here we need xhr.send in order to send the request. So there's also another problem here, xhr.open, because xhr itself is a variable, not a function. So let's save this, and here you will see XML HTTP request. So as you can see, it's got a response here, and you can only open the one that has the ready state 4. This is a more complete one showing the latest response. So here, as you can see, it's got a JSON response, and a JSON response shows the all of the movies, all of them all together. So you can get any kind of data that you want. And so as you can see here, we are ready to continue. And by the way, here, if I open up whatever we've got here, you'll see that ready state change, ready state change, and onReady state change. So it's got all of these attributes, and also we've got the response, which you can get the data from it, and also the status, which is 200, which shows success in querying the data. So now let's write an if statement afterward. So if this dot ready state equals to 4, and also there's other condition, and that is this dot status equals to 200. So this is for the success of the request. And here we'll get the data that we want from the JSON file. So let data equals to data equal to JSON.parse, and here we will have this dot response, which is the JSON that we're looking for. So there we go. And by the way, JSON has a small s. Actually, all of them are capital, so JSON.parse. There we go. And so we will get the image link and show this on the DOM elements. So image link from the JSON file, and so we'll get data.items. So we'll get, for example, the item number 10. Doesn't really make a difference. So .image is for finding the image. You can find other data that you're looking for and add this to DOM elements. Here we've chosen the image, and notice that in the future tutorials, when we will learn about fetch, we will show all of these movies on the different cards with all of the data of those specific movies, and it's going to become a much more beautiful kind of project. But for right now, the main reason we're writing this is to get the general idea of the APIs and also AJAX. So we'll get the elements by ID, and here we've got the ID my image. So there we go, my image dot src for image, src, and image link. So there we go, and everything is complete. Now we can save the project and see the result here. If there's nothing wrong, we'll be able to see this Forrest Gump movie photo right over here, and we've successfully done this. You can change the movie item, and for example number 9, and the photo should change. As you can see, it's another movie, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. And so that's it for this part of the tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it, and until the next one, goodbye.